Welcome to the show.
I'm Brian.
I'm Frank.
And this is the Frank and Brian show. No,
Oh,
what?
I was gonna say. Sorry. I was gonna say. Last week I kind of like left the cliffhanger saying that the theme song needed to be like solidified more before I could say anything.
Yeah.
It's solidified. We have a theme song coming.
Yeah.
We have a theme song coming. My friend Gabby Chaos, who's in the Venomous Pinks, is going to be writing us a jingle, a theme song, something like that. I don't know. She's working on something, so it'll be pretty rad. Thanks, Gabby. Check out her band, the Venomous Pinks. Just Google it, YouTube it, something like that. Awesome band. And yeah, so I just wanted to give an update on that.
Heck yeah. That's exciting. I'm excited.
So, where would you like to begin? Last week's episode, I feel like I don't know if it was a bit controversial, but I just feel like last week's episode, we kind of got.
I haven't had any feedback on it bad, so I don't think it was controversial at all.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. All right. Well, so then moving on then.
I think we can get even more controversial, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, we will, because in today's episode, I want to talk about the Rollin' in the Red Rock show, going to that show and our experience and all that, and kind of let the viewers know what was going on with that, and then go into some viewer questions that we got over the last week, and one of them being the most infamous question since we've launched this podcast is, why do I hate Billet Wheels?
And I think I'm just going to put this out there right now. You don't hate Billet Wheels.
I don't. That was going to be my first thing. So
yeah.
That was going to be my first thing is like, I don't hate Billet Wheels. I like them. I think they're very cool, actually.
Yeah.
So stay tuned till later in the episode
when
we answer that question.
Yeah, we get to the bottom of the Billet Wheel saga.
The bottom of the Billet Wheel saga. I like that.
Yeah. So
but yeah, let's
Rolling in the Red Rocks.
Yeah, Rolling in the Red Rocks. Start with that.
Yeah, he already. Today's Friday, and we were there last weekend, and he's already got a date for next year.
That's right. Yeah. So super excited about that. It was a great show. I left here at the desert about 10, met up with Handsome Eric from the club, and which was really cool because it's always really cool when we have something, we're either following something or someone, and it's just cool to film, so got a lot of great rolling shots on the way out there. So that was pretty cool. And so I meet up Handsome Eric in the morning, and he has his Toyota. So for those of you who don't know, Eric has this really neat Toyota. It's got graphics all over it, but he also has an NBS full size GMC pickup on billets and air. So I'm waiting, and that's his tow truck. That's what he uses to tow his ride. So I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for him, get my camera out, ready for him to pull in. He pulls around the corner, and just lays out his truck with his Toyota on the trailer. And he gets out, and I tell him, I said, you didn't have to flex on everybody that hard.
Yeah. All he's missing is the airbag trailer.
Oh, dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we did that with Holly's truck and the airbag trailer and Jose's truck? That was super cool.
That got a lot of attention out there at LST when we took all that whole setup.
That was 2015, right?
Something like that.
That was really cool. So maybe we'll throw up a photo of that.
Yeah. So I love the show. Mm-hmm. I think the event was great, and I think Graham's a professional, and he's got so much experience going to different shows all over the country. He sees what he likes at different shows and what he doesn't, and then he compiles all that together and then uses, he was a big part of Slamfest in Florida for years. So, and
because he was in Mini Madness, right?
Yeah, and he was like the DJ at the show for years, and then he actually ended up taking over the show for 2020. So, yeah.
He was the DJ? He's a DJ? I had no idea that he is a DJ.
Yeah, I have footage
of it. Our friend...
I don't know if he was the DJ or more the MC.
Oh, okay.
But
it'd be cool if he was the DJ, because our friend Graham, not only does he throw Rolling in the Red Rocks, but he is a cop. So a cop who throws a mini truck show, who is also a DJ at said shows. That's a good combination right there.
Who also drives a body dropped Isuzu Amigo, had a body dropped Nissan Titan dually,
Topless, body dropped.
and has a convertible donk.
That's right.
So
Graham's great.
Graham is great. The show was great. It was indoors, outdoors.
Is that the Utah or St. George Convention Center in Utah?
St. George, Utah, just like an hour and 20 minutes north of Vegas. Yeah, I had a blast. When we get to these shows, we always have shows we've never been to. We always kind of like, oh, I wonder how it's going to be. I wonder how the traffic's going to be at the booth. I wonder how this, and I always get nervous. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be great or whatever. Spent so much on gas money, spent so much on this, but it ended up being really good.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. You were saying that Graham has thrown a couple shows before, and one just Slamfest, right? Or
just Slam. I think.
Okay,
well,
so
I think that they did like doing it in the dark. I don't know what they did, but
so he has a ton of experience throwing car shows, and this was his first dive into throwing his own show. And I think it was my opinion is the same as yours. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I love exploring new places that I've never been. So I've never been to Southern Utah to a show, so that was really cool. And we'll get into that in a second. But I want to make a point saying that, like, Graham has done this for a long time, and he had a great plan and a great location. But that's not to say that, putting all that together, that, you learn little things. And I think that the show went very smooth and everything was great. But I definitely think maybe he took a couple things away to make next year's not necessarily better, but just, fine tune it, I think.
You do that. It doesn't matter if you're 1 year in or 20 years in. That's just kind of the way things go. But yeah, it was great. There was 6 or 7 hotels within walking distance, nice hotels, new hotels, a couple places to eat there, and yeah, just a good time. And then they shut the show down early at 3:00 on Saturday, which was really odd. I was like, this is too early. Like
that did feel weird.
Trying to rush around and film everything and in time. I always get nervous, Mm-hmm. And then we did the cruise. Everyone left and then met back up at 6 that night to go cruise. What was it called? Snow Canyon, I think it was.
I can't recall the name, but Snow something.
Yeah, but basically the title of the show, Rolling in the Red Rocks.
It was literally rolling through the Red Rocks, which was cool. And from our perspective of making videos and stuff like that, you can't ask for anything better. And then especially so, and by the way, we're gonna like bounce a little all over the place. So like we're not gonna do it like in a linear timeline of exactly getting to the show. I think we'll bounce back and forth. But yeah, so getting to the park, cruising up there, entering the park, which you have to pay to go into this park, but your your registration got you access into this park, so you don't even need to sweat it. You just roll in, and they were just like letting people through. So that was really cool. There was
not us though. So when we got broken up from the
you went the wrong way.
Yeah. So you were in my Titan, and I was in Angela from a girl in our club. I was in her Acura, and we ended up going the wrong way. So
that's right.
We came in from the south, and you guys came in from the north. So when we rocked up to the gate, the lady was like, "Yeah, it's $15." And we're like, and then she goes, "Oh wait, are you at the show?" We're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, go ahead."
Oh, okay. So they only sweated you slightly.
Yeah, and I was like, "Dang, all these people had to pay $15 to get in here," but no, it was.
Yeah,
it was our mistake, but we ended up meeting up with everybody, and it was
because it's just like sort of like one entrance and one exit.
It's just a loop, essentially. You could go in the north side or the south side, but everyone kind of was pulling off to the sides, taking photos and videos, and I always get real nervous of, am I going to get shots, like rolling shots, and then like I remember when we first showed up, you were showing me the shots of Eric's truck, and I was like super jealous. I was like, I didn't get any roll, and then on the way back, I ended up getting some. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot of these shows when we do like cruising and stuff like that, or there is a cruise. It's kind of interesting. Cruise to the Pine, is one that comes to mind. Is like, it's hard to kind of get the whole show. You kind of enter the cruise with like the couple vehicles that you're rolling with, and that's kind of it. But actually, one thing that was pretty cool about this is once we entered the park and kind of like did some cruising, we stopped in like this little like outlet, like right off the highway. So you could imagine like this like little cul-de-sac right off of the highway, and it's just filled with trucks.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of cool. So everybody pulled over, chilled for a few minutes, and we actually did that twice. Now that I think about it.
There was people all over the canyon, stopped in parking lots
Yeah.
and climbing on the rocks, and it was really good. Yeah,
And
it goes back, like you were saying, Cruise to the Pines, especially like when we both film these events, we want to get different points of view, but sometimes it's hard when we're riding together and all that stuff. So we ended up, we were just like, hey, you go in this vehicle, and I'm going to go in this vehicle, so at least we got some different stuff.
Yeah, that's always a challenge for us when we go places, especially like sometimes when we're riding in the same truck.
Yes. Yeah, I remember the first year we did Eastbound and Down.
Oh, that's right.
Together. And I remember I was walking towards Ronnie from C10 Talk, who hosts Eastbound and Down. And he's a great person he has got his own podcast and everything. He's a great on-camera personality, and he's a friend of mine. And I remember I was walking up to him, and you had come out of the blue, like sideswiped me.
I flanked you.
You like camera blocked me. And you just like, and Ronnie just like looked at your camera and just did this amazing intro. And I was like,
yeah, I do remember that.
I was like, oh, hell no. We're going to have some problems. These are my C10 friends.
That was kind of early on, not early on, but that was kind of early in the whole thing. But I think we eventually settled in and just realized, like, we kind of like try to give each other space and stuff like that. So
yeah, just kind of pay it. And then we also just make it fun now. Mm-hmm. Like I just walk in front of you and.
Oh yeah. I got some footage of that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. That kind of stuff will end up in the video. Yeah, that's always fun. So the cruise was really cool. Like I said, bouncing back and forth. That was my first experience actually being inside of a venue vendoring. I think I've only ever vendored outside, so that was kind of a cool experience. Like literally cool. It was air conditioned.
Yeah,
it was inside. That was pretty nice.
That's right, because the first year we did Scraping the Coast, we decided to go outside, which was a huge mistake.
They asked us in the beginning. They said, "Would you like to be inside or outside?" And for some reason, we said, "We'll be outside."
Yeah, and this is Scraping the Coast. It's in Biloxi, Mississippi, in June. And it's 105 degrees and 95% humidity, and that was a mistake. But anyways, it was great, and I'm glad. All the feedback I've seen online so far is really good.
Yeah, same. And I think this is just one of those events, and it seems cliche, but that is just going to get better and better every year. Because this first year, I think a lot of not a lot of people, but there were some people who maybe slept on it, and now that the show's over and everybody went back to where they came from and, told their friends and told their clubs about it, and I think along with the videos, once the videos get out there, people are going to be like, oh, I got to go to this event.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it sucks because it is in May. So his date's next year, like the 20th and 21st. So if everything holds solid, we're going to have Mini Nats the last weekend of April. Maybe Battle in Bama the weekend after that. And then I'm going to have a C10 Nationals somewhere in there and Cruise to the Pines.
Yeah, so it's gonna be so busy.
I'm looking forward to it. I just hope everything kind of works out.
Yeah. And I guess we'll just kind of make it work out. You know what I mean?
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so that's awesome. Congrats to Graham.
Absolutely. So I got a little funny adventure that happened to me on the way home.
Oh,
it's just tiny, but it's funny. So, we're headed back, and, me and Angie always like to just like maybe do something a little fun on the way home. So we're driving through Vegas, and some of our viewers know that we love Hattie B's hot chicken in Nashville. And I think we talked about that in a previous episode. That's one of our goals heading back east. So anyway, there is a Hattie B's in Vegas, and it's actually in the Cosmopolitan Hotel. And so I said to her, hey, let's go. And she's like, okay, cool. That sounds awesome. So I knew obviously taking a trailer, because that's when we go to shows, we take the Titan with our trailer with all our vendor stuff in it. So I knew that was going to be a little challenging.
Well, remember I told you I was going to go because I have to go through Vegas on the way home, going through Phoenix too. And I was like, oh yeah, hot chicken sounds great. And then I'm thinking, this is just going to be a cluster. I'm just going to go home. Parking in Vegas, it just makes me mad.
That's what got you mad. But I look at every opportunity as a fun adventure. So we pull off, we get to the Cosmopolitan, and I'm just following the I almost said UPS directions, the GPS directions.
I saw your story. You went right through valet or something.
I did. I pulled right up into the front. And if you like look at, maybe we'll throw the photo up, but I take this selfie and there's a row of Lambos, AMG Mercedes, and all of these like super nice cars, and there's me and my Nissan Titan pulling a trailer. It was hilarious. We got some pretty funny looks, but we ended up finding parking and stopped in there, which was pretty cool. But if I was to give a quick review of the Hattie B's in Las Vegas, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. 8 for the food. It's delicious. It tastes just like the one in Nashville. It's really good. -2 for the ambiance, which is it's in the middle of a casino, basically like in a food court.
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange. So anyway, that was our little post rolling in the Red Rocks adventure.
Yeah, we just drove straight home. Will Rucker from Perfect Poise. We had an adventure on the way up there where he blew an airline right in the back there, and he messages me and he's like, "Hey, we need to stop. I need blew an airline." And I said, "Like right now on the freeway or the next exit?" And he's like, "Oh, the next exit's fine." So between that and that, his compressors melted something in his trunk of his car, so the compressors wouldn't come on, and we didn't have a jack with us. So we had to get rocks from the side of the road and like pile a little rock between his back tire and the fender, and he got up on that, and then I got another bigger rock and put it on that and slowly got up, and he fixed that, and then I had to take a screwdriver and hold it onto the posts of this melted whatever it was to get the compressors to go up.
To turn on and fill up. So you essentially created like a little like ramp out of rocks.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's like, what are you going to do? You got to figure it out. Like you can't just be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah, but it was great. I can't wait for next year, and I'm looking forward to next May. I just hope everything works out really good.
Yeah, for sure. Same. Well, cool. Yeah, so that is the Rolling in the Red Rocks. Is that coverage? Is that a recap? Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I think it's just us talking about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But wait, what's going to happen when we go to a show and we hate it? We're either not going to talk about it or be like, yeah, it was fun, and then whoever's listening to it go, wait, but they talked about that show for a long time, and they didn't talk about my show very much at all.
Uh-oh.
Take a hint.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of these shows are lucky that we have a good time anyway.
I thought you were going to say, lucky that we're there.
Oh. Maybe.
A lot of these shows are just lucky we show up.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, like, I always have fun. Like, I'm just like sort of one of those people, like, you just drop me in a situation and I find how to have fun,
Yeah. It's a thing. Hey,
it's a thing.
Dead air. All right, what are we transitioning into now?
All right, so that was the Rolling the Red Rock show. Let's get into it. Let's get into because we're gonna do some questions from our viewers, and I have a couple right here, and one of them. Now I'm gonna have some dead air, and one of them being, this is funny. Okay, so one of them being, is your hatred for billets the new style big boys or the OGs no bigger than 17? Now,
Are we straight going into billets? The first question.
Yeah. We're going there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just talk about it. I mean, everybody wants to know because I don't know what episode it was, but we talked about how I don't even know how people picked up that I hate billet wheels, but that billet wheels really aren't my thing.
Well, you just don't.
I should say.
It's just gonna be a funny conversation because it's not. I mean, because if you look at the billet wheels, okay, your thing, you like big chrome wheels, like 18-inch, 20-inch chrome wheels from the 90s. But what current wheel is like that right now?
Right. I think I should maybe preface all of this conversation with, like I said earlier in this episode, I don't hate billet wheels. I think they're really cool. However, I do like chrome wheels better.
But all the billet wheel is a chrome wheel.
Essentially, I mean, a polished billet wheel just looks just like a chrome wheel.
No, it's the same thing. It's just a different style wheel with a lip on it.
Right. No, I get that. No, I get that. But like, I think what I'm trying to say is like, at least for my truck, let's take my truck for example. I have some very basic 5-spoke chrome wheels, And the reason I have those is because I guess the era of like mini trucking that I grew up in was like not a lot of like big billet wheels. Like if you think about it, in the early 2000s, not a lot of people were putting huge billet wheels on trucks. You know, everybody was doing like some of my favorites are Alba Banks, the Yankees.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, let's. But I'm trying to think of how to say this.
Right.
There's probably 5 wheels that you could name that you like. They're all old. They don't make them anymore. So if you had a full size Chevy, what wheels are you going to put on there?
Okay. So I thought about this. I thought about that exact question. So, and I may get some flack for this one, but if I had a full size Chevy, and it's just because like, kind of to touch back on the 4Runner, like the reason, one, I like chrome wheels, but the other reason is like I have 18s on it with a fatter tire, is like the freeways in SoCal are like brutal. Like going down the 10 freeway sometimes is just, it's just,
yeah, but
like,
that's
really
the same,
brutal.
but you could have a smaller billet wheel with a fatter tire. And obviously it's your opinion and all that stuff. But if you have a full size Chevy doesn't look good on big chrome wheels.
And you know, everybody's taste is different, and I think sometimes they do look really good on big chrome wheels.
Yeah, but a billet wheel is a big chrome wheel, and your which chrome wheels has a lip on it? Because you can take a full size Chevy and put a front wheel drive wheel on it.
Yeah, I see the point. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely see. Yes,
see,
I definitely see the point that you're saying.
All the discussions that we've had, like, we don't like. We're on the same page with this. When a billet wheel defines your truck,
and that was going to be my next point.
Yeah. But you can't say that you hate billet wheels.
I never said that.
I know. Or you... like, if you take 2 full-size trucks side by side, and you put 22-inch chrome wheels on one, and billet wheels, like, with a lip on this one looks better. The chrome one does not look better. I don't care what anyone says. You're lying if you say it looks better. That's just my opinion.
No, yeah, no, that's a pretty valid opinion.
Yeah.
And I agree to that. It's just like I said, I've seen both. I've seen, you know, I get what you're saying about the lip. The lip is really, really important because that kind of like goes back to the whole like kind of like not stance look, but the way the truck flows. So if you have this like giant body truck and you have these wheels that just are straight down, yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, having a lip on the wheels gives it some sort of dimension and stuff like that. And yeah, that's a valid point because I actually didn't think about that. You know, my whole point was, and granted, this may be, I don't know, I don't know if wrong is the right word, but it's just, you know, it's just how I think, I guess.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be 100% honest with everybody listening and watching and you. It's like I've never actually owned a set of billet wheels like that. I've only ever owned chrome wheels just because that's sort of like, you know, my taste.
Also affordable.
So, oh yeah, definitely affordable. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely affordable. And then like kind of like what you're talking about earlier as far as like the old style wheels. You're right. There are no like big, like new chrome wheels. Everything is sort of billet.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, and it's usually a manufacturing reason. When you get up into the 22s, 24s, 26s, and things like that, they're not going to make a big cast. You know what I mean? They do, but they just... I mean, like I just sold a set of 24s, some old dub 24s, but I thought they were going to look cool, and then I got them, and I was like, these are going to look terrible. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and all of this is purely subjective and purely like people's opinions. Like everybody's opinion, you know, wildly varies and stuff like that. But I was just trying to like, I've been thinking for the like past like couple days on just how to like kind of like, you know, put my thoughts into words. You know, my feelings on billet wheels and stuff like that. And I guess, I don't know. I guess I don't have like a good conclusion, you know, other than...
I have a good conclusion.
Yes, tell me.
So there's a bunch of different truck scenes out there, and one of them seems just to focus their entire structure around billet wheels.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
You know, I got billets. I need billets. It's just like, it's like the build is surrounded by billet wheels, not by body mods. And mini truckers are like, it's not just about the billet wheel.
Right. And I think, you know, and it's not just unique to the mini truck world or the truck world in general. It's unique to every single, you know, everything, but we'll talk about automotive scenes in general. There's always these buzzwords, like if you say, I'm gonna build a bagged and bodied truck on billets, with a LS motor swap. Like these are like buzzwords,
Yeah.
and it takes a certain combination of those things to create cool. Now there are some trucks out there currently that are stunning. That one from Japan, that Tacoma, that truck is just like absolutely stunning. And if it were on any other wheel, it would look wrong.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that like you can say you're gonna build these things, but until you have the right like look, the right combination of these things, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're trying to say like a lot of things.
I think it boils down to buzzwords.
I think, yeah, definitely.
Like, just like you said, LS swap. It's like the cool thing.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Billet Wheels. It's the cool thing. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just buzzwords, and it's on the verge of being annoying.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. But, like I said, there's some builds out there like on non-billet wheels that are awesome, So, I don't know. It's just all preference. It's just all whatever makes you go, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Frank doesn't hate billet wheels. He hates people with billet wheels.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying that either. I'm definitely not saying that. No, I love all sorts of wheels. A really good person that we could talk to about this subject is Jaime Silva from No Regrets. He works for a shop in the Ontario area called Jason's Wheel Repair. And not only is he a master at fixing wheels, he can take wheels literally with chunks missing and rebuild them and turn them into proper wheels again.
Yeah.
But he has a killer taste in wheels. Like he knows wheels. He knows what wheels go with what vehicles. And that's the other conversation. And that's another, and I don't mean to like jump ship real quick, but that's another really good point. Kind of to go back to your full-size truck on billets opposed to any other wheel, some things don't look good on billet wheels. And just because you add billet wheels to them doesn't add anything to it. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, if you look at Jaime's truck, his truck, in my opinion, would look better on a better set of billet wheels.
Yeah, and I think he's had billet wheels on that one. He's had a few different sets of wheels.
Wheels are very important. You know what I mean? And if you put the wrong set of wheels on a truck or car, it won't look right.
Yeah, that's sort of the point that I'm trying to make.
So just because you put billets on a truck doesn't mean it looks good. You have to put the right set of billets on a truck.
Right offset, right style, everything. It takes a lot of thinking and a lot of effort,
Yeah, it's definitely the wheels make because you could take the biggest, like say a body drop truck, full size and or mini, and it could just be laid out, but not like super nice paint, not anything like that. And if you put a cool set of wheels on it, it completes the truck. Like it makes it look rad. But if you put the wrong set of wheels on it, okay, let me repeat that. If you have a like piece of crap mini truck or full size truck and it's laid out on the right set of wheels, it looks cool. If you have a fully painted mini truck and you put the wrong wheels on it, it doesn't look good. So just because you have rad paint and rad everything else, if you put the wrong set of wheels on it, it ruins it.
Definitely. No, yeah, definitely. I think that's the case with anything.
Yeah.
If it is a combination of all of these things coming together and planning.
Yeah.
Like planning it out, having an idea when you start the project, the direction you want to go. And that's like, I find that happen a lot in our scene is when, I always say this, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, just things that I've seen through going to so many shows and seeing so many different rides. The things that I've seen, the things that I've noticed is sometimes, I'm not going to say a lot of times, sometimes people go into these builds with no plan and they start kind of making it up as they go along, and you could see it. So like, you start off with the truck and you're like, okay, I'm going to bag it. And then, you bag it, looks good. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to body drop it. And then you start body dropping. And then halfway through the body drop, you're like, okay, I'm going to, LS swap it. And then things start to get off the rails pretty quickly, But it's the trucks, in my opinion, that had a pretty solid plan in the beginning that come to fruition and look really killer.
Yeah. It's really important to build your vehicle if you're going to do a full build around the wheels because, for example, RJ Silva from Eye Candy Designs, he's got a really rad OBS truck. Full frame off build from, I think, the late 90s, I want to say. Can't put anything bigger than 20s on it because of the way they did the fenders and stuff. You would have to cut all the painted stuff out of the motor compartment and the bed and stuff like that. So
Right.
just because you want to run 20s, build your truck for 22s. Or if you want to run 22s, build it for 24s.
Right.
Give yourself a little bit of leeway.
A lot of shops ask you, like, the first thing you can take your vehicle, your truck, or whatever there. The first thing they're going to ask you is like, okay, where's the wheels?
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to base a lot of the stuff off those wheels. I'm not a builder, so I don't know the technical aspects of it. So
luckily, I am,
lend to
so
those.
I can let you know.
Oh, there you go. Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, I just know that a lot of shops request that the wheels first so they can start building the suspension around that thing.
Well, let's move on to a different question.
Yeah, but actually, that's a really good segue because the next question we have here is shops or backyard garages, and I think that was a pretty good segue into that.
Shops or backyard garages?
I think what they mean is like, what is our opinion versus shops, big shops versus backyard garage, like someone building a truck in their backyard or building trucks, more trucks in their backyard.
It depends on your budget and in my opinion, it depends on your budget and how much you know. So I can give you a perfect example is when I got my Tacoma back from New Mexico. I sold it to a guy in New Mexico and I bought it back. We redid the whole back suspension in my garage. Well, now it has to be redone. So yeah, we wanted to do it ourselves and all that stuff, but in the end, should have just had a shop do it. It
Right.
really depends on your budget and your experience.
Yeah, and I think also, so that's a perspective of like either like doing it yourself or having someone else do it, I think is what you're saying.
Well, if that question was shop versus like if
I know it's kind of a vague question.
Yeah, so if you're a forerunner, should you have had a shop do it or should you have done it in your backyard?
Right.
Based on
And
your skill set.
Right. I think it's like a kind of like a two-pronged question. I think that's one way to look at it is, are you going to do it yourself? You're going to have a shop do it. I think the other question is if you had, and you kind of already said this, like with the budget, like if you were going to build a truck and you were going to have someone build it, which is better, taking it to a shop or a backyard? Someone who, and a backyard's a weird
it's too much of it's your garage or whatever.
Yeah.
It's too much of it's too difficult of a question to answer because there's too many variables. If you have the money and you know of a reputable shop that will finish it, I would 100% take it to the shop. Mm-hmm. But that's just me.
Right.
But if you have the capability and you want to do like a build in your garage, and do it in your garage.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I think maybe that one needs to be a little more specific. So all right, moving on. Let's see. This is a really good question.
Should we say who's asking these?
I don't know. I thought about that. I blacked them all out on YouTube because I don't know if the people wanted to, I don't know.
Sure,
what do you think?
I think who asked this question?
Okay. All right. So the first question, the billet question, was by, these are all through Instagram right now. It was Mazda_B2600i. He asked about the billets.
Yeah.
Mad_rabbit.sr asked about the shops or backyard garages. Okay. And then this one is from B_Miller time. He asked, why do you think all the big shows left SoCal? That's a good question. And that's a good question for you because not you by yourself, but you were the guy behind all of the Forbidden Fantasy shows from the Lake Paris days all the way up until currently in Laughlin.
Yeah, and then the reason we left Paris was because of it's a club-based show. It's not a business, so we're not in it for a profit. And it just became not fun anymore, with all the expenses. And, your show gets to a certain size and you have to have security and your budget grows. And then your budget grows and then you have to demand more from, in our case, our members. And it just wasn't fun anymore, So we moved it to Laughlin so we could have fun as well. And then, I mean, you have what other West Coast shows or California
Well, I
shows
mean,
were they?
the big ones way back in the day were like California Truck Jam, the Forbidden Fantasy show. Would you say this show really didn't move out of SoCal? It kind of just stopped coming around. Was the Relaxin' in SoCal show? That was a pretty big one for a long time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, okay, if you let's look at Truck Jam, Spring Truck Jam, and then the other one. They were thrown by, I forgot the guy's name, but then Pierre Hoffman from Auto Indulgence ended up throwing.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he just stopped. You know what I mean? It's just because it becomes a job. Big shows are a job. And then essentially, if you already have a full-time job and you're trying to throw shows as well, it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, I like our show, the Forbidden Fantasy show, because it's decent. It's not big. You know what I mean? And so we kind of have set it up to where we don't need to grow. Like if you don't come to our show, we don't care. But a lot of shows when it's a big, like you have to care if people come because you need the money, you need the numbers, and you have to like ask certain shops to show up and certain builds to show up. It's pretty important, and it's just hard. So I would say because no one stepped up to throw any more shows.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good point. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the beginning of the Lake Paris days, it was fairly easy to throw the show there, right?
It was. The very first year was 2000 in Lake Paris, and we only took up part of the fairgrounds, and so it was $500. The last show we did there, we rented the entire fairgrounds, and it was $10,000.
Right.
Plus security, plus everything else.
And
that's not to say that we didn't do it because it got expensive. We covered our bills, you know what I mean, and made money. But again, it wasn't my business. It was just the club throwing it so we could get together with everyone and have a good time. But it ended up not being a good time. So I would say it's everything comes in cycles. There'll be more shows, who knows when, but.
And that person was asking specifically about big shows. Yeah, I guess there's no more big shows, but there is so much going on in Southern California at any given. Well, I can only talk about Southern California particularly because that's where what I know is going on. And there's always something going on. Whether it may not be mini truck related all the time, but even mini truck stuff. Like if you really wanted to, you could be doing something every single weekend.
Well, if you're talking about mini trucking in general. There's nowhere in the United States that mini trucks things happen every weekend. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you live in Florida, for example, huge show scene in Florida, there's not a mini truck show every weekend. Right. And you have to travel. If you live in Miami, you got to travel to Tampa. If you live in, you know what I mean, or travel to Georgia or travel up to North Carolina. You know.
But that's also talking about, shows in particular, but there's always when I say something going on, there's cruise nights.
Oh, yeah.
There's always cruise nights. There's always small shows. I got to hand it to the Southern California Mini Truck Council. They are always putting stuff on.
Yeah.
Organizations like them, clubs like Seductive, clubs like, and I can't, it can't come back to me for the life of me right now. But there are clubs out there. Oh, Sunset. That was the one I looked. So clubs like Sunset, clubs like Seductive. They are still out there doing stuff. Like you can always count on them throwing a cruise night once a month, getting together. You can always count on the California Mini Truck Council throwing their one-day show. I don't know if it's going to go down again this year, but they still throw a traditional 3-day mini truck run every year.
Well, and when you say big shows too, in order to throw a big show, like even the Forbidden show, I think we had 600 or 700 show vehicles on average every year, but out of those vehicles, only half were mini trucks. So you actually have to have a lot of mini trucks in general in an area to throw a big mini truck show.
Right.
And
always.
And I hope Relaxin' brings their show back. That was a good one, but there's so much logistics to throwing an event,
Yeah.
So if you're talking about big events, I think that's it's difficult.
And you bring up an interesting point. So like when we reference like mini truck shows, I don't think, we use that term again in like this like blanket statement, mini truck shows. They're not just like for someone who's listening to this podcast or really doesn't know much about what we do. If they heard the term mini truck shows, they would envision a show just full of mini trucks.
Yeah.
Which is not the case at all at most events. I mean, there's such a wide variety of vehicles and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I've lost my train of thought right there.
I would say someone needs to step up and throw some more shows in SoCal.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, where you at,
definitely.
Severed Ties? Where you at, Jamie McBride? That was a big one. The Severed Oktoberfest was rad.
Oh, Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oktoberfest was really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a lot of big shows back in the day. And I think, maybe what some people are looking for, the answer is just like, maybe it, I don't know what kind of answer they were looking for, but I think the truth is like you said, it's like an issue of just someone wanting to throw a show like that.
Southern California got very spoiled. When you think about shows like back east, every single person has to drive a minimum of 6 to upwards of 10, 12, 13 hours to get to a show.
Yeah.
So when you see like mini truck Nats, none of those people live in Maggie Valley.
Right.
And maybe 2% live within an hour. Those people came from Florida. They came from Canada. They came from, Texas, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you live in Southern California and you want to go to a show, drive to Arizona, drive to Utah, drive to Northern California, drive to where these events are. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Don't just wait for everything to come to you. Go out there and get it.
Yeah, you got to go get it. Then there's a lot of events in Arizona. That happens. So yeah,
no,
what's
definitely.
next? What do we got?
All right. What's next?
Yeah,
All right.
my audio recording is at 48 minutes right now.
Okay. Well, let's do one more and then maybe wrap it up because I think we only got one more here. All right. Let's see. Some of these are very generic, like how mini trucking started. I mean.
Now pick a good one. Did you see Andrew's on the Instagram page?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
All right, so Andrew, low _ wirenut on Instagram. Understanding both of you are mini truck fanatics, would you ever go to a non-mini truck event? Example: import tuner, drag race, He said rednecks, and rednecks. Oh, rednecks and paychecks. That's actually a legit thing.
Oh, really?
4x4s and do coverage. Secondary question: if you could shoot a video anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? So let's do the first one.
Okay. I have experienced like trying to do that. Like there's a bunch of different events that I would love to go to and just check out and do coverage and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe I have the wrong perspective on this, but I notice that like on Instagram, for example, if I post a photo of a mini truck, tons of likes and shares and everything like that. I post a photo of like a hot rod or something other, and you see a pretty significant difference in those two things. So as far as like stuff that I like everything. I like lowriders, hot rods, mini trucks, everything like that. But looking at it from a perspective of creating content and putting it out there for people to consume, I don't know, kind of maybe stops me from doing that.
Yeah, and I think, and I've had this discussion with you before, because you're like, I'm done filming the show, and I was like, you got it? You're like, no, I just filmed the mini trucks, and I'm like, yeah, but there's so much more to this event than just the mini trucks.
Right.
And the best thing about mini truckers in general is they don't just like mini trucks, they like everything.
Right.
So if you showed them a bag Lambo or a lowrider, and you're so into the lowrider, like you love lowriders and stuff like that. Video that you shared in our group chat the other day of that thing in LA with the pool.
Oh yeah, the pink motel.
Yeah, like I think you should cover that stuff because you enjoy it for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry about the numbers, but like if you enjoy where you're at, then it's gonna show in the footage.
Right. Yeah. No. Totally.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm the same way. If I post a mini truck, it gets an X amount of likes. If I post an import car, it doesn't. But I really like import cars and Euro cars. I've gone to Southern Worthersea.
That's right. Yeah.
A couple of years in a row in Georgia, and I mean, I really like that stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I think we both have a pretty wide variety of tastes.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, I think you're right. I think it's just one time just going out there and saying, like, I'm just going to go do this and cover it and then, put it out into the world, and however people, receive it or anything like that, just got to just not accept it.
I think it's, Well, I also think it's a time thing because, I mean, we're so behind. Both of us are behind on edits right now. So we're going to catch up here with the little bit of downtime coming up. But by the time we're caught up, then there's the next show and the next show and the next show. And you can't just like be like, oh, I want to go to, well, you went to that import show in Ontario.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
There's
I went to
the Clean Culture Show.
The Clean Culture Show in Ontario. I guess, I really don't know any of those guys in that world. I did not like that event at all. Like I didn't have fun.
We went to, there's one here down the road from us and I loved it.
Oh, really?
Will went. Will took his truck to the side, but you want to know why I liked it?
Why?
Because I didn't know anybody.
Oh.
You could walk around and do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, no. So let me tell you my experience from that. It's actually a pretty funny story. So I thought the same thing. I said I want to expand my horizons and I want to go check out this stance show, Clean Culture. And I get down there. The show itself was cool. Like the vehicles were cool, although repetitive. And the same thing could be said about mini trucking, but mini trucks or whatever. But it was kind of repetitive. It was like 350Z, 350Z. An A8, a 350, so it's a little repetitive, but, cool cars nonetheless. What really kind of threw me for a loop, and maybe I'm basing my whole experience just on this one thing, and maybe I need to reassess it.
You would never base your experience on one thing.
Yeah, I would try not to. So they had this thing called a two-step contest.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And for those who don't know what a two-step contest is, it's basically you pull up, and you just let on the rev limiter, I think that's what it's called. But anyway, you just rev the crap out of your car until it backfires. And like that's the whole event. And so these dudes would roll in with these basically straight pipe Miatas and stuff like that and just start rapping on them until they start backfiring. And I'm there, I'm doing what I do, which is get in there and get the content, right? So I'm like right behind these vehicles. And it's just like, it's backfiring in my face. Just all, it's crowded. It's backfiring in my face to the point where I got up. I grabbed my camera, I turned around, and very audibly, I'm all, this is fucking stupid. Which probably didn't like make a lot of people happy, but I don't know. So maybe I need to reassess my situation, just not based on that one event at this thing. Because like I said, the vehicles are pretty cool. So yes, I have ventured out there and I've tried it, but maybe I'm a bit jaded. I don't know.
Yeah, I love, like I said, I love the Euro cars, the import cars. Like I would love to get my mini truck done and take it to Hot August Nights or take it to the Clean Culture Show like Will Freeman did with his 720.
How was his truck received at a show like that?
They loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a cool truck.
Yeah, it's a cool truck, but it's just like you said, they see the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just like if we're at a mini truck show and then something different rolls in, like a bagged, I don't know, Lambo or something. You're like, oh, that's different. That's kind of cool. So,
and the show that I went to was actually very similar in like kind of like layout, which is just, the show, and then they had a Limbo, which was kind of funny. So like that was, I'm gonna have another hot take from this show, and I hope it doesn't ruffle anybody's feathers. So they had the Limbo going down, and we're used to Limbos with bagged, bodied, doored, and chopped trucks. Sometimes these vehicles are very low, and so you could get them under the Limbo at a pretty easily. I'm not saying easily, but bear with me while I'm trying to put these thoughts together. So these guys would roll through. Well, not a lot of them are on bags. They were just like these static drop vehicles. So instead of just like, laying it out as far as the truck could go, and that is like your height that you're going to, achieve, they were like letting the air out of the tires. They were piling people on them to like push the suspension down more, which was fun. I mean, it looked like everybody was having a good time. But from a person who has witnessed hundreds of Limbo contests with some of the lowest trucks in the country, it was a bit of a like, there's a better way to achieve this.
His second question was, if you could shoot a video anywhere in the world, where would you want to go?
That's also a good question. Now that is also a bit vague, two-pronged question. Is that like any like car show in the world?
Any car show,
any
yeah,
car
yeah.
show in the world.
It says if you could shoot a video anywhere in the world.
The type of videos that we shoot.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, because you've been to Japan, you've been to Australia, you've been to New Zealand. Yeah. I've been to none of those places. So I mean, I guess my list is very easy. Just go to those places. I see the guys in Japan building cool stuff. I see the guys in Australia building cool stuff in these cool shows and stuff like that, which is kind of like unique to our club specifically, is because we have members in those places. So not only is it going to these places and making videos, is pardon me. Not only is it going to these places and making videos, it's going to hang out with these people, you know, in their own world, you know what I mean, in their own country and in their own spot. Like I've met most of the Australian guys and Shingo from Japan, and so I've hung out with those people. But it would be really, really cool to like go there, because I've said it before in a previous episode. Like one of my favorite parts of doing all the traveling that we do, especially when we stay at like Airbnbs and stuff like that in these different cities, is sort of immersing myself in that place for that amount of time. Yeah. So I'd really love to go to Australia and just be an Australian for like a week, you know, be a bogan,
be a bogan,
a mini trucking bogan, you know.
You would, Australia is a big party scene. You know, the trucks are awesome, the builds are awesome. Those guys party.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about shoeies where they put beer in the shoe and drink out of it.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I've seen shots taken off of body parts that
questionable.
Yeah. All kinds of stuff. And then Japan, they're so, you know, the mini truck scene there, they're so proud of the builds and things like that. And they're just all about the trucks. The quality of the builds there is second to none, you know?
Just the attention to detail and stuff. I mean, Japan has been like that the whole time, like in any scene, lowriders, imports, mini trucks. So I got a good question for you in that respect. If me never been to any of these places, if I was to invest time and money and effort into going one of these places, which one should I go to first?
Australia.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, just because, you know, not a knock on Japan, but just, you know what I mean? Like, you like to party.
Yeah, I do.
You know? So I would say definitely go down there and experience that, you know, because it's totally, I mean, not saying we partied in Japan, don't get me wrong, you know, but it was at night in the city, you know, in Tokyo and stuff like that. We didn't party at the show.
Oh, I see.
Where like Australia, they have basically truck runs where you go to the show and then you're at the hotel there and stuff like that. So
that's cool. Yeah. So I definitely want to do that. Some point. I don't know when.
But you haven't even been on a plane.
I know. I didn't.
You haven't even. Do people know that you don't like flying? I think we did talk about that.
Did we? But, I don't think we did.
I think your first plane ride should be a 16-hour flight to Brisbane, Australia.
I've thought about that. I thought it because like Angie was for those who don't know, but I don't like flying. I've never been flying, so I don't have a very accurate like. I don't have anything to base it on why I don't like flying. It's just I've always had a fear of flying, but I'm gonna get over it and I'm gonna do it. That's the backstory to it. But yeah, Angie was saying that like, oh, you should just, you know, take a short flight up to San Francisco or something like that. And I was like, why don't I just go for broke and just go like that? Go on.
Well, because if you say you did that to Frisco and you're like, never again, never getting on a plane again. Mm-hmm. If you do it to Australia, you're at least getting to your destination and experiencing. You could never go back again in your whole life.
That's true.
But at least you're there. And if you want to go home, you can't drive home. You can drive home. We could rent a car and drive home from San Francisco. You're just gonna you're like, oh, well, I either live here in Australia.
I was gonna say I could just live in Australia.
I can get a job on a container ship.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Or I'm getting my butt on this plane.
Yeah.
It's all about Xanax.
Oh.
Cody had to pop some Xannies when we went to Australia that last time.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like, yep.
Oh, well, okay. So that's me. That's now you have to answer the question. Where would you go in the world to
Thailand?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thailand has a crazy mini truck scene.
Yeah.
And an even crazier like race scene. From mopeds to boats with these crazy turbo diesel motors on them to tractors. They made these tractors that go in the rice fields, and they have speakers and neons in them and stuff. And then their mini truck scene is crazy. They get mini trucks over there that we don't get.
Right, right.
So it's pretty cool.
That's a really good answer.
Me and Ernie always talked about going to Thailand. He wanted to go there with Low Life Video. We always want to go to Thailand. And my buddy Mark Smith that lives in Australia. Australians go to Thailand like we go to Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like their vacation spot. So he actually shot a mini truck there for Mini Truckin' Magazine back in the day.
Was that the brown one or reddish brown one?
It was like red, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a cover truck, wasn't it?
No, that was actually that one you're thinking of was from Australia.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's a really good answer. That's a really good answer.
Will I ever get over there? I don't know.
Yeah, because do you ever? Because I remember there was a time, and this is before COVID and all this, that like you were gonna go back to Australia, but it got canceled a couple times. Are you still planning on?
We canceled it. We actually lost our plane tickets. We lost like $3,000 or whatever for me and Jamie were going to go over there, and I think it was when my mom was moving from Southern California to here, or something. It just didn't line up, And that was before I was married. And if I go over to Australia now, I'd love to take Chelsea back over there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be definitely be cool.
Yeah, so buy more shirts from our websites, so we can take our wives to Australia.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Speaking of websites,
yes.
I filmed our new giveaway video today.
Oh, let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it.
So we kind of had a break. We never planned on, like, at first when we talked about this, it was like every month we're going to give something away. And then it kind of like the square tank, we did it mid-month because we don't plan well.
That's
so
true.
we're not thinking ahead. We have so much going on. We're like, oh, we already gave that one away. What's next? So we're giving away a Legacy ragtop.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. That's really cool.
It's gonna be cool. We just have to figure out the logistics as far as how long we're gonna let it go. I think in probably 2 months, like the square tank one, or something like that.
When we started, it was. I think it was just kind of like not easy for us to say, but it gave us something to say that we were going to do it every month. But just the way the world works and the way things work out, and especially like we launched this whole campaign in the beginning of the year when we're the most busy. Yeah.
So. And then we decided we've always talked about this podcast, but then on the way home from Mini Nats, we're 100% doing it.
Yeah.
And we did it that week. Mm-hmm. Like the next week we were like, let's do it. And then, so now we're having to do the finding time to do that, finding time to edit it, finding time to start the Instagram, all this stuff. So
yeah, it all comes together, but we're doing it again. We're giving away a Legacy ragtop for this, see my natural.
See, it's hard to say this month.
Yeah, that's my natural thing to say this month. Our next giveaway is going to be a Legacy ragtop, and all you got to do to enter is either go to Brian's website, which is grinder-tv.com, or my website, which is livelifecustom.com. And for every $5 you guys spend, you get one entry into the drawing. So go do that. That's awesome. I'm really excited about that.
If Frank can get caught up with printing, towards the end of this drawing, we might have some special edition T-shirts.
Yep, that'd be cool.
No, you're the T-shirt guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're definitely gonna do those. We're gonna do some limited edition T-shirts that will get you double points. We're working on some other stuff.
Yeah.
But
we're working on some stuff.
Yeah.
We're working on some stuff. Frank just added banners to his site. I just added a new hat. I think I'm going to add another hat soon.
Yeah.
And
we're trying to, I try to throw some things on there that, if you just wanted something easy to get into the drawing, you go on our website, we have $5 sticker packs. I'm going to throw some keychains on there for $5. Just so, you don't have to go buy a T-shirt or anything like that. You could just go pick up a little something and then you're into the drawing. Because all it takes is one entry to win.
One entry to win.
But we would prefer... No, just kidding.
We're trying to travel the world.
But
we can't answer your guys' questions about world travel if we're not traveling the world.
Right on. Well, cool.
So I think we're just over an hour or just at an hour. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But it was a good episode. We got the infamous question out of the way, the billet. I really don't know if we made any progress on it, but we at least addressed it.
Yeah.
We talked about the Rolling in the Red Rock show. That was great. Keep the questions coming, guys. Drop them on our Instagram, on the official Instagram, which is The Drop with Frank and Brian on Instagram. All one word.
And make sure you remember that this episode is going on the Kustom Life
That's
YouTube
right.
channel.
This episode will be going on our channel, the Kustom Life channel. And
so if you're watching this, the next one will go on the Grinder TV channel. So it's going to alternate between the two.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, thank you. And if you're sending us questions, make sure to be a little more detailed about some of them. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't answer your question on this one, we'll answer them throughout this series.
Yeah, this is all. Every episode is just a conversation. It's just like you've said before. These are just extensions of the conversations that we have on the road or through message or something like that. So these are just an extension of those things.
Yeah, so don't take it to heart with what we say.
Yeah. Again, I'm like making this very clear. We are not talking about anybody in particular. This is just...
The episode's going to go live on Monday, and it's just going to be like, ding, 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 ding. What do you only like about my Billet Wheels?
American Force is going to stop sponsoring our show. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. We'll see you guys later.